Yes,
Welcome back, Source Nation. You're listening live to Power Over Tomorrow with our resident financial advisor, Tyrone Mitchell.
yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Power Over Tomorrow. I'm your host and resident financial advisor, Tyrone T.S. Mitchell, coming to you live all the way courtesy of T.S. Mitchell Financial, LLC in Columbia, South Carolina. We don't want to remind you that T.S. Mitchell Financial is a registered investment advisory firm. The information that we share with you is for educational purposes and not for the intent or the solicitation of any specific securities or investments. Remember, securities and investments do have risks and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. So please continue to hit us up here on Power Over Tomorrow with your questions, comments, and your concerns for your specific needs. Continue to shoot us your contact information and also just following us on tsmitchell.com. Of course, we want you to continue to also seek out qualified financial, legal, and tax advisors in your particular area too. But in the meantime, let us not forget to give a special thanks to our hosts who make Power Over Tomorrow available to you each and every week. And they are Zelina Health, Wellness, and Fitness, Paper to Film Productions, Renovation Mills. Let me correct that. Revolution Mills, then Renovations, Meet My Types Matchmaking, Blend to Blend Juice Bar Boutique, Urban Grandstand Digital, and New Covenant of Praise Worship Center. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely want to make sure we have all the ducks in line and we give proper credit where credit is due. But you know, there's something that continues to come across my desk, regardless of whether it's listeners or people that subscribe to our email and our newsletters. A lot of folks talk about getting rich. I'm serious. I mean, they're talking about getting rich. So I figured let's talk about it. We're starting off a new month now, so or a new series. And the series is going to be How to Be Rich. That's right, How to Be Rich. And the goal is to help uncover what has been hidden from you. I know some folks are out there looking for that buried treasure. And, they're doing things that they can, whatever they can, and sometimes doing it to whomever they can, just to be able to say that they got it, that they're rich. But we're going to tackle that. Oh, yes, we are. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to tackle it for the next few lessons. We're going to tackle RICH as an acronym. That's right, RICH. Today we're going to discuss it. We're going to introduce it. We're going to speak on some things, and we definitely want to hear from you. Hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. Even give us a call at 619-924-0933. Again, 619-924-0933. Press option 1, and you will be online with us. And when you hear the last 4 digits of your phone number, then you definitely will be live. But we're going to talk about this thing about how to be rich. And in our introduction today, I want to build the foundation, because I don't want us going on any wild tangents or any preconceived notions and all that. So we're gonna try and keep it straight and narrow, because when we're able to keep it like that, we're able to keep you well informed. So, Source Nation, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to begin our discussion on how to be rich, uncovering what has been hidden from you. Source Nation, we'll be right back.
Source Nation, stay tuned. You're listening live to Power Over Tomorrow with our resident financial advisor, Tyrone Mitchell.
Source Radio Network is just one of the many platforms that is used to fulfill dreams of our listeners.
and create a purpose that will impact the lives of our communities, cities, and the world. It is often said that great things will happen when a group of driven people work together to accomplish one goal. We're giving people the opportunity to have a voice, translate words that haven't been heard, and paint pictures that no one has seen. Source Radio Network is fueling your life's purpose. How can you listen? www.blogtalkradio.com/Source Radio.
With me is T.S. Mitchell, the independent and trusted financial advisor. T.S., how long have you been doing this?
I started my practice in 1984 when I was 19. I saw something happening and I wanted to make a difference.
You've helped a lot of families over the years. How do you do it?
Well, the first thing I try to do is build a relationship. I find out where you are, what are your goals, and where do you plan to be. From there, we try to design a plan that will help you reach your goals efficiently and economically, too.
Do you need to have a lot of income to work with T.S. Mitchell Financial?
Well, if you can save $1.50 a day, then we can talk.
Appointments are available at 1201 Hampton Street, downtown Columbia. Online at tsmitchell.com and 803-744-3417. That's 803-744-3417.
I wanna Welcome back, Fourth Nation. You're listening live to Power Over Tomorrow with our resident financial advisor, Tyrone Mitchell.
Yes, Source Nation, we're back, and of course I am your host and resident financial advisor, Tyrone T.S. Mitchell. I know what you're thinking. That song is a far, far cry from the previous series we've been talking about when it comes to financial stewardship. I know it is. I know, but I can imagine that some of you at some point in time in your life has said those words, I want to be rich. You know, when I think about all the bills that I have and all the financial issues that I have to deal with, sending my children to college, making sure the bills are paid each and every month, and making sure that we have a future. Sometimes we believe that the concept of just being rich is going to solve everything. Well, that concept is not something that's new to you. No, that concept has been around since the beginning of time, and when money and currency has been a factor in the lives of man. So, but we're going to take an opportunity to really discuss what does it mean to be rich to you. And, just think about it. I mean, hit us up with your questions, your comments, your concerns at 619-924-0933, 619-924-0933. And so I ask this question: what does it mean to be rich to you? There's been many definitions that have come across our way, especially here in the financial market. Case in point, today we got a record or been informed that the stock market has reached a new record as far as the Dow Jones reading. The Dow Jones is a mixture of 30 companies that appreciate or they have a certain value. Now, when you see those numbers on the ticker tape that goes across your TV screen or your smart device, that's not necessarily reflective of how the entire industry is doing, but you know what it is? It's a feel-good measure that people use to determine whether or not their portfolios are growing. It's not the only measure, but folks use it. And they typically say, well, the market is now it reached a new point. It's at 22,000. And then they're going crazy. And they say, wow, when we first started the year off, we was at 19,000. Then we jumped to 20, then 21. Now we're at 22. Well, as always, when you're dealing with things that involve the market, you have to understand how it works. And we cannot deny the fact that people have used the market, and what I mean by the market, and for those who are long-term listeners, you know that we've said many times before there are 5 different markets, but for the simplicity reason, when we say the market, we mean stock market. For our first-time listeners, I'll say this: there are 5 markets that are in the financial industry that people have used to be rich or to use to accumulate monetary wealth. And those markets are stock, bonds, money markets, mortgage market, okay, and also what we call foreign exchange markets. So what does it mean for you? Just tell me, what does it mean for you? The World Bank states that anyone with $20,000 in this world is rich. Now, you may say, now come on, $20,000. A $20,000 annual income on the world scale is rich. Because the reason is that because there are many places outside of America and outside of some European countries that folks only make sometimes $50 a year, and So when the average world income is less than $5,000 a year, and you live someplace where you're making $20,000, you know, you may say, well, you want to be rich, but folks may be looking at you already saying you're rich. So before we get truly into the details about being rich or revealing or uncovering what has been hidden from you, what I'd like to know right now is, what do you know about being rich? Some places say you got to have $1 million in appreciable assets. And others say you got to have $7 million. Fidelity Investments say you got to have $7 million to feel rich. All right? So, we understand that there's a difference between feeling and reality, okay? You can walk around town, with a little money in your pocket, and you can feel rich. But when you get home, reality may strike, and you figure out, well, I'm not as rich as I thought I was. Well, what does it mean to be rich to you? I'm going to keep asking that question, because I know that to each and every one, it's something that's a little different. But the bottom line is that, okay, once you have that understanding, what are you going to do to get there? Now, we see many different aspects of life that people use as barometers, okay? Once I just said about appreciable assets. An appreciable asset is something that you own that grows in value. Now, many times folks ask me this question, okay, well, Mr. Mitchell, I want to get my credit straight. And when I get my credit straight, I want to go out and I want to buy a couple of things. I said, okay, what do you want to buy? He says, I want to buy a house and I want to buy a car. I said, oh, okay. I said, in what order? And I said, well, I was thinking I'd go ahead and get the car and then I'd get the house. Well, let's think about this now. Appreciable assets. When you buy a car, typically they tell you what? That as soon as you pull that car off the lot, it goes down in value. Appreciable is something that goes up. Depreciate is something that goes down. So if you buy a car, and then as soon as you pull it off the lot, if you paid $30,000 for it, and then it loses 20% of its value, that means $6,000. That car is only worth $24,000. So what do you do? What do you do? All right, now let's think about buying a house. You purchase a house. Typically, depending upon how much money you put down, you will automatically have what is called equity built in the house. So if the house is worth $200,000, and you put $20,000 on the house, now guess what you have? That house has a value, but inside is a cash that's called an equity. And minus any escrow and any taxes that were paid out of it, there is a value that's added to it. Now, if you're fortunate to purchase that home in an area where the neighborhood is seeing improvements and things are growing, then slowly but surely the value of the home goes up. So if you find yourself in a position wanting to purchase something, make sure that you focus on getting your hands on appreciable assets first. Then you do depreciating assets. And as a matter of fact, a depreciating asset is an oxymoron, all right, because assets are typically those things that grow. An automobile truly is a liability because you're paying to keep it. You're paying to maintain it. So when you really think about buying an automobile, unless you're able to, sometimes, as we used to say, pay cash for it, and pay less than the market value for it, then it's going to depreciate on you. So if you find an automobile that's worth $30,000 and you're able to get it for $18,000 or $20,000, now you have something. If you flip it or sell it to someone else, you have a cushion in there that is built for profit. So what does it mean to be rich to you? When we think of the assets that we have, we often think of the material things, those things that we can grab hold of, those tangible things. There are two types of things that we must have access: the intangible and the tangible. The intangible are those things that we value, those things that are available to us, but it's not something we can put our hands on. Something of value to you that you just can't put your hands on, or you can't put it in the palm of your hand and say, see, here it is. Something like ethics, something like love, okay, all right, friendship, respect, responsibility. Those things have a value, and that intangible value also influences sometimes the tangible things in life. All right, let's take case in point. The next something that's tangible. All right, something that's tangible will be, let's go back, that physical home. Correction, the physical house. And the reason why I corrected that, wasn't it Luther Vandross that sung, "House is not a home"? Now, see, the house is the physical part, the tangible part. The home is the emotional, the attachment, the love, the intangible aspect of it. See, you can have a house, you can have a big house on the corner with 4 or 5 car driveways, all garages, everything. You can have a big house, but if that house is not a home, then what's it really worth? So when we discuss this or taking this aspect of power over tomorrow, addressing the fact of how to be rich and uncovering those things that have been hidden from you, I want you to be aware now. I may not necessarily be talking about money. I hope I didn't let the cat out the bag too soon, all right? Because when we are discussing these things, we're discussing it for the purpose of being able to be of greater value not only to ourselves but to others, and also to leave something of value to who? The next generation. We spoke the last series about behavioral finance. The way a man spendeth, so is he. The way he thinks, that is also the way he produces. So that thinking aspect is an important feature. So when I ask the question about what does it mean to be rich, what does it mean to you? I'm sure we can get all types of comments and questions that come across the board. Someone once told me that being able to pay off the bills and live comfortably, that's what make them feel rich. Someone else said having a mansion, a yacht, and and a string of polo ponies. All right, that would make them feel rich. Well, those things are just that, things. Many times our feelings can be deceptive when it comes to money, because if we find ourselves doing more to keep money, but yet not necessarily properly encouraging and helping others, then are we really gaining value? So when we look at the aspects of being rich, we have to begin to see what is the prevailing thought, not only in ourselves, but also what's the prevailing thought throughout this world. There are many thoughts on how to do it. And you can just look at some of the television shows that are out there now, or have been out there. I remember one, was it The Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous? And then the other ones out there were Pimp My Ride and Pimp My Home, and all those things, and Rags to Riches, all these different types of things. Well, folks are sitting at home, and it never ceases to amaze me. The ones with the least amount of money are the ones sitting at home dreaming about the money that other folks have. Does that make sense? You're dreaming about somebody else's money. Now, you may not be, contemplating taking a brick and going to sneak around their house and hit them upside the head when they come out the garage. You may not be thinking that, or if you are, we want to make sure you try and get some help, okay? But the point is that you may not be thinking about putting harm to someone, but you can oftentimes are thinking about, what if I had what they have? Many times you already have it. You just have to get up and get it. Now, I don't know. You say, now, wait a minute, brother. It's not that easy. Well, who says it's not? Who says it's not? When we think about those that they call the 1%ers, okay, the multi-millionaires in this country and in this world, when we think about them, we can recognize the fact maybe many of them got their money because it was passed down through generational wealth. Well, we have to not only look at their end game, but sometimes look at the formula that they used to get there. Was their formula that they used one that, as we've said so many times before, one that was built upon loving people and using money, or was it built upon using people and loving money? We have been, for the past few months, looking at the current administration. And people say, when during the election, they wanted this person in the White House because he knows about making money. He knows about making money. He speaks what's on his mind. He says this and he does that. Well, now he's in the office and he's saying, okay, he's talking about money. But the money he's talking about does not trickle down. He's not talking Reaganomics when we talk about the trickle-down theory. All right, no. He's talking Trumpism, where the money is is truly looking like it's being designed to stay within his family. You have to follow the money. Watch folks how they act with it. See what their decision-making process is. Why is it that there has to be so much turmoil to get things done? Is that the way to work? Is that your view of being rich? All right. So when you throw dirt, Mother said this to me one time. She says, when you throw dirt, you lose ground. Think about it. All the dirt that's being thrown, eventually he's going to lose ground. It's just a natural process of life. So being rich, does it allow you to make cognitive decisions or irrational decisions based upon you being classified as rich? Are you looking to be rich because you want to make similar type of decisions without any remorse or without any recourse against you? All right. What does it mean to be rich? I can't answer that question for you, but I'm looking at drumming up the thought process, and because when we begin to tackle the R, the I, the C, the H, the acronym of rich, we're going to look at four things. We're going to look at the real of being rich. What is the real of it? And when we look at what does it really mean, what is the real of being rich? And then the week after that, we're going to talk about the end of being rich. The ends, the I ends of being rich. Then the week after that, we're going to speak on the control of being rich, the control. And then after that, we're going to speak on the. Now, I have a couple of choices for H because there's so much that we can possibly put in there. But I'm going to say this: the hierarchy, the hierarchy of being rich. Let me change that on my notepad real quick. We're going to talk about the hierarchy of being rich. Now, I know that's a highfalutin word. Some folks say that's a $5 word given by somebody with a $2 education. Well, listen here. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about that word hierarchy when the time comes. But there it is. To understand this acronym, to understand and uncover what has been hidden from you, we'll have to investigate the real, the ends, the control, and the hierarchy. When we finish that series, I can guarantee you that you're going to be rich. Yes, I can. I know you've heard me say it before. There's nothing, guaranteed except death and taxes. Well, this is one more thing I'm going to guarantee, because for you to be rich, well, I'm not going to give the answer to that, but I'm going to guarantee and I'm going to show you, in the last part, how you are now rich. All right, but I'm quite sure many of you are going to probably figure it out before then. But this is what we want to talk about. The reason for that is because of the mere fact that in this instantaneous world where, we are no longer sitting and preparing food over a course of 2 or 3 hours just to have something to eat for 15, 20 minutes. Nowadays, folks are preparing something in 10 or 15 minutes, if that fast. Maybe if that's slow. Maybe they're preparing it in 5 minutes, and so they can sit down and eat for 15 minutes. Instantaneous world. We see folks appreciating their economic value just by using their intellectual property, inventing something. And it's not a hard invention. It's more these intangibles that are coming out, things on the internet that are being invented, ways to use different types of services, and folks being paid billions of dollars. And then we sit back and say, wow, they're rich. Well, the song says, yeah, I want to be rich, lots and lots of money. But is that your definition? The definition of being rich is going to change on a daily basis. Why? Because life is constantly changing. A couple of friends of mine went to Honduras a few weeks ago on a mission, a church mission, and while they were there, they were sending pictures back and just looking at some of the things. Now, these friends of mine, they got beautiful homes. But when they went over to Honduras, and what they were doing, they were building houses for others, building toilets, sleeping on dirt ground, on dirt floors. And they came back with something that they never had before, something that inspired them to go back another year. So when you think about being rich, it may not necessarily be the material things that you have. Many times with these friends, we sit down and we joke about, man, if we had. But then we go places and we realize that we have more than we think we have. It's all in perspective. Where are you? Why is it that people, I came across an article that talked about the wealth of so many athletes. And, they went and they talked about Akeem Olajuwon, $200 million. Shaq O'Neal, $200 million. I think LeBron James, $300 million. Michael Jordan, $1.2 billion. And it goes, and they just went down the list, and then they got to some players, who had millions and millions of dollars, now sitting on $200,000. Now, there are many of you out there that may say, man, they got $200,000. That's a lot of money. Okay, but what's the perspective? The person was making $120 million a year, and now they're down to $200,000. as available cash. That was so the question is, when are they rich? Were they rich with the 120, or are they rich with the 250,000 as opposed to 120 million? When are they rich? Where lies the barometer to determine what it means to be rich? Then on the other side, you have somebody that may sleep in a cardboard box and tell you he got everything he needs in the world and happy about it. So, what does it mean to be rich to you? And we're going to keep asking that question as we investigate, because there are many things that are coming across our radio waves, our television screen, through our smart devices, that's telling us that what we have is not good enough. And if we are going to be better stewards with what we've been blessed with, if we are going to be sound in financial principles so that we can and make better decisions for our family, our future, and our finances, we do have to address some questions. Because when we address the questions, the goal is to set what? Is to set the barometer, is to set the guidelines, the limitations, and believe that there's no maximum, but we have to set some things in order. In order for us to succeed, you have to succeed at putting things in order. They work together. So when we think of these things such as the appreciable assets, stock markets, intangible and tangible things, they all bring something to the table. Whether they bring something positive or something negative, it depends on how they're being used. For if we use them in a way that shows glory to God, is joy to us, and brings benefit to others, hey, I think we're moving in the right direction. But if what we do with what we have is a dishonor, brings discomfort, and it's hurtful, then we definitely have to rethink what we're doing. Now, I know many of you say, well, that's not the intentions. No, it may not be the intentions, but that's why it's good. It's always good to look beyond what's just in your hand. And what I mean is that when we make decisions, remember, life is about making choices. And these choices and decisions that we make, they oftentimes will have consequences, whether they're positive or negative. For every response, there is for every action, there is what? A reaction. So there's a cause and effect to all that we do. Even if you sit down and sign a contract, whether you're signing a contract to go into business or you're signing a contract to use someone's services, that contract is supposed to be designed for a mutual beneficial agreement, where one person receives the service that they need or the product that they need, and the other person provides the service or the product. Typically, that's a contract. So contracts are written to make sure that both parties fulfill their end of the agreement. And these contracts, these agreements help enrich relationships. See, being rich doesn't just start with the money side. It starts with the mind side. And when we focus on building that and understanding what does it mean to be rich, we can better prepare ourselves and our children and our children's children with the finances that we've been entrusted with. For if they believe that they are not rich and they have to go out and get things over and over and over again, it's going to hurt you economically. If they use money as an answer to their pain because it makes them feel good to have this, special device, or it makes them feel good to have the latest this and the latest that, then we got, then we have to address that. See, being rich can propel you or dispel you. Depends on how it's being used. So the key factor to understanding what does being rich mean to you, the key factor to that is for you to keep it in its proper place. Keep it in its proper place. We must keep things in their proper place so that we can be wiser. Think about what's going on in this country right now economically. It's not necessarily, while it's still embedded in this country, and the country was founded upon disenfranchisement of people of color, but their prevailing way now is to say, well, we wasn't a part of that back then. Okay, that was a long time ago. So, but now, everybody is equal. So they say. So the prevailing thought now is this: it may not necessarily be discrimination based upon ethnicity. It's more so toward economics and ethics. Meaning, when you develop something or a system based upon, to discriminate or to develop the haves and the have-nots, is more so toward the economics that a person has or has not, that the economics that they have access to or do not have access to. And then to help ensure that, you have that aspect of ethics. Well, if you don't believe what I believe, we're going to cut off the money stream. Okay? Why is it that we're hearing so much about quote unquote fake news? Before then, there was no essence of fake news. We just knew that there was, bipartisan news or news that was just unfriendly. Now, every time there's someone disagrees with someone, the news is fake. No, that's not true. That's not true, because everything is not fake. While there are some things that you may be skeptical of, but it's all not coming down as fake. But that's why it's important for us to recognize how we're going to view things in life. Because if we do not view them in the right way, those things that are false, those things that are fake, they will give the appearance of being something that they are not. And one thing that's constantly being driven in this country is the fact of folks having to be rich to make a difference. So I asked that question, what does it mean to be rich to you? That's the question. This is part one, and that's the question I'm going to ask, and I'm going to keep asking the question. What does it mean to be rich to you? Because if the only view that we see is those who we place in office or place on a pedestal, that they make great decisions because they are, quote unquote, rich, then what does that say about us? What does it mean to be rich to you? Some of you may already be rich and you don't even know it. I say that because that was one time I had my business, my book of business, and I sat down with someone at the home office one time with the company I was with. And I said, I want to grow this business. And he looked over, he asked me a few questions, and he said to me, man, you're sitting on a gold mine and you don't even know it. I said, what? He said, you're sitting on a gold mine and you don't even know it. And then we began to talk about how to really take what I already have, and instead of trying to go out and get more, but just take what I already have, dig deeper, utilize what I have, refine it, and then grow within. And once I sat back and I looked over where I am, and I, I had a little bit of hair back then, so I scratched my head and I said, he's right. Sometimes we are more rich than we think we are. So what does it mean to be rich to you? We're going to talk about that. As a matter of fact, we are talking about that today. And we're going to speak about that over the next few weeks because we want to take this time to really prepare ourselves to get stronger with our finances by knowing what it is that we're trying to reach. If you say you want to be rich and you want lots and lots of money, like the song says, then it's going to take some direction, some instruction, and some perspiration to get there. If you say you want to be rich by having a home environment in your house, then we can get there. So when I ask that question, what does it mean to be rich to you? It's not a hypothetical question, or I'm not being flippant as old folks would say, but it's to sometimes open our eyes to the things that we can have. But what is it that you're trying to accomplish? Your finances can be stronger. Your home can be stronger. Your vision can be stronger. Your style, your life can be stronger when you know what it is that makes you rich. Question again, what is rich to you? Over the next few days, next few sessions, we're going to uncover what has been hidden from you. Now, one part about our finances, have you ever hidden some stuff from other folks and you find out you've hidden it from yourself? Okay? So we need to reveal those things about money, those things about finances, those things about financial planning and wealth management and building. We need to reveal those things so that they are no longer intangible objects that we've only heard about, but they can become tangible in their very own special way. And they become tangible by us taking an opportunity to build on it. So what does it mean to be rich to you? How to be rich? Uncovering what has been hidden. We're going to uncover it by looking at RICH, real, the ends, the control, and the hierarchy. That's what we're going to do. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think about it, not just for today, but each and every week. When you come back, we're going to be prepared. We're going to dig into this. So next week, we're going to talk about the real of being rich. We're going to talk about it. We want to hear from you. Hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. Power Over Tomorrow. Twitter is TS Mitchell Power. Go to our website at tsmitchell.com and sign up for your financial newsletters. Also download our free financial apps to your smart device. Make sure you keep in contact and make sure you review the information that is out there. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, is that remember the Lord your God, for it is He that gives you the ability to make wealth. Deuteronomy 8:18. So listen here, in your walk of life, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind forever be at your back. May the sun shine upon you with His warmth, and may the rain fall upon you ever so gently. Until the next time when we can cross each other's path, may the God of heaven hold you in the hollow of His hand. I am Tyrone T.S. Mitchell. This has been Power Over Tomorrow. Source Nation, be well, be blessed, and be your best.
Get at me for beats, yo.